Attention, Starfleet officers. I just finished watching Star Trek Picard Season 3. So, in honor of that fantastic series, I thought today we'd talk about this figure from 1996. This is Playmates Captain Jean-Luc Picard as he appeared in the movie First Contact. Let's beam him out and take a look at this figure. Hey guys, so we're going to talk about this figure from 1996 from Playmates. It's Captain Jean-Luc Picard from the new motion picture First Contact. So this is the bottom of the box. It's got a great piece of artwork of a Borg drone. That's not Locutus, that's just some random Borg. And of course, there is Jean-Luc Picard in his First Contact uniform as he appeared in that movie. And of course, that's the first time we ever saw that particular uniform. And I'll talk more about it when he's out of the box. Of course, I am not a mint in box collector, so he's already been out of the box. That's why he's holding on to that phaser rifle, and it's not in its little plastic shell back there. But we'll take a look at that and the other accessories as well. I just put them in the box to show you what the box looks like. But I am not a mint in box collector. So there is Captain Jean-Luc Picard from the movie First Contact. And that came out in, I think, 1996. So I was just a young guy, 25, when I saw the movie in theaters, and it was fantastic. And I might even talk more about the movie too as we go along. But you can see the packaging's really nice. Now, I am not a mint in box collector, so you can see my packaging is not so nice. It's got dings and nicks and scrapes and creases and bends, but it doesn't matter because he's out of that box, really. I just put him in, like I said, for show. There's the top. First Contact, Star Trek, Captain Jean-Luc Picard from the new hit motion picture. And it's Playmates, of course. It's got a nice image of the Earth there, which played quite a role in the movie. If you haven't seen the movie, go check it out. It's fantastic. And there's the figure. You can see Playmates was, although it says ages 4 and up at the top, it's designed for kids. It is a toy after all, but they're also aiming for the collector's market. You can see it's got Collector's Series Edition number 11,174. Now, who knows how many are really made out there, but, they were aiming to the collectors, as you can see. Bottom of the box has nothing, just a barcode and some information. Oh, there's the year, 1996, Playmates Pictures. So the movie is 27 years old. Back in 2001 was the 25th anniversary of the movie. Side of the box, we have an image of the Enterprise E as it appeared in the movie. Captain Jean-Luc Picard. You can see, like I said, the box is in rough shape, but that doesn't bother me because you get a nice profile view of the figure. List of the Starfleet accessories, which is repeated at the back. And there's some more of that great artwork of that Borg sort of wrapped around the corner of the box there. But if you are a mint and box collector, I love how they've designed the box with kind of a wraparound of the plastics. You can see a profile. You can see him from every angle, really, except the back, of course. The other side is exactly the same. And there it is. Now, he does not come, like I said, with the phaser in his hand. I just put him there to keep him wedged against the box. And the back of the box, Star Trek, First Contact, Captain Jean-Luc Picard from the new hit motion picture. The Borg are back. You can pause the screen. But the most lethal threat to humanity's existence has returned with a new starship and a new strategy for conquering Earth. The Federation's defenses fail, And the Terran system is about to be conquered. Faced with assimilation by the Borg, Starfleet turns to Captain Jean-Luc Picard and his crew from the new USS Enterprise. They stopped a Borg invasion once before, but this time fate is against them. To save Earth, they must boldly go where no one has gone before. So like I said, if you haven't seen First Contact, it is arguably one of the best Star Trek movies. It could be said it's the best TNG movie of the bunch. So I highly recommend checking it out. There's a list of the accessories. Starfleet accessories, Starfleet compression phaser rifle. It's a long-range phased energy ordnance. Borg scanner, alien cyborg detector. Now I'm going to talk about that. I'm going to talk about all of them when I show you the accessories, but it's interesting. Laser light, which is a concentrated light wave emitter. The Starfleet action base, which of course looks exactly like the comm badge that they wear. I always liked that Playmates did that. And in this case, it actually comes with a mini movie poster from First Contact. It's small, but I'll show you what that looks like too. And of course, there's a picture of the figure. You can see the picture of the figure looks like that's actually a sort of a metal or a shiny plastic comm badge and pips. But on the figure itself, it's just printed on, as you can see. So they didn't go that direction. It would be very expensive. But resistance is futile. You can collect the entire galaxy of Star Trek 9-inch movie action figures. So these are 1/8 scale, because they're 9 inches. And there's our Captain Picard. There he is in his civilian outfit from the 21st century. There's Commander Riker, Lieutenant Commander Data, and of course, the inventor of warp drive, Zefram Cochrane. And some more information on the bottom. So, we have Captain Jean-Luc Picard from the movie First Contact. And there he is in the box. Perfectly displayed as the manufacturer intended. So for all you mint in box collectors, that's what it looks like. And they're still out there. I mean, you can find this figure. They're out there. If you do a search, you'll see them. In fact, this one had a price tag on the back, but it's nothing but sticky residue now, so I don't know how much it cost or where it was originally purchased. But there he is, Captain Jean-Luc Picard. So let's get him out of the box and take a closer look at this amazing figure from an equally amazing movie. Okay, so I've unfolded the poster first. So let's take a look at this poster. And it's great. I mean, it's got the same Borg drone artwork that's on the side of the package. But look at the size of that. I'll put my hand in for scale, but it's about 9 inches tall, which is about the same size as the figure. And it's about a foot long, roughly, when it's unfolded. Pity it's got the creases in it, though, but that's not a bad mini poster from Star Trek First Contact. There's the Earth, and of course the Enterprise E, and Zefram Cochrane's ship, the Phoenix. So it looks great. Now, if it doesn't fall off the back of my table, I'm going to leave it there as kind of a backdrop for the rest of the video. So that's the mini movie poster, which is a nice bonus. Playmates didn't have to do that, but it's nice. Good little accessory. 1996 Paramount Pictures. So yeah, we'll leave that up there. And now we can talk about these accessories that come with the figure. There's 3 of them in this case. There they are there. We'll take a closer look at all of them. But as the box says, we have laser light, concentrated light wave emitter. And here, of course, the laser light is orange. When they made accessories, the colors were hit and miss. The colors that you see in the box weren't necessarily the colors that you got. It's a pity they didn't include stickers or details. You can see that compression. The phaser rifle's got two colors, so that kind of sharpens up that accessory a bit. But it would be nice if the other accessories had multiple colors. But let's take a look at this laser light. Now, luckily, my accessories are all kind of dark, which is a much more realistic looking color. But there's the quote-unquote laser light. Very small. It's been included with a few other figures. When Playmates did their 4.5-inch line, I think Tasha Yar came with this, but they just called it a, quote, Starfleet issued flashlight. Here they call it a laser light. And I think Montgomery Scott came with this as well, the 4.5-inch figure. And they call that a multi-range, I forget what it was called. Multi-range light source, I think. Because it apparently, emitted light from all the known light sources, but essentially it's just a flashlight. Based on probably, props that were used in Star Trek. I don't know if this particular prop or accessory was used in the movie or not. But I'm quite sure the second prop was not used in the movie. Now this is what the box calls a Borg scanner, alien cyborg detector. I mean, the only scanners they really used were tricorders. But this is called a Borg scanner. But this is not a Borg scanner. In fact, I'll even put a picture of what I think it really is. This is called a wand scanner or an engineering scanner. And it's something that Geordi LaForge has used in the TV show, but not in the movie, I don't think. A friend of mine actually has a prop replica, a 1-to-1 scale replica of this wand scanner. This wand bit used to light up with chasing white LEDs that would run up the length of the wand. And Geordi would use it, usually on data, to, do diagnostics or to reactivate him. It was really featured quite well in Time's Arrow, Part 2. So if you ever saw that episode of TNG, you would have seen this wand scanner, engineering scanner. But it's certainly not a Borg detector. But hey, if they're going to give it to me as an accessory, I'll take it. But it's not a Borg detector. That's a wand engineering scanner. And here is the Type 3B. It's kind of a stretch phaser rifle. Now, it's not accurate. I mean, I can put up a picture of a Type 3B phaser rifle. But, like I said, this is a toy for children, and it's not bad. It looks pretty menacing, even though it's not at all screen accurate. But I do like that at least they have two colors there. They've got the black and the silver. So it looks pretty good for what it is. Yeah, it looks pretty good. So there's the accessories that Picard comes with. And they may have been different colors. Like I said, I was just lucky and got dark ones, but we've got a multi-range light source. We've got a quote-unquote Borg scanner or engineering wand scanner and a compression phaser rifle. I always said props, or rather accessories, seem to make a figure. So when a figure, whether it's a superhero or a Star Trek figure or anybody has an accessory in their hand, it really helps bring the figure to life. So, I like Picard to hold on to this phaser rifle because I think it looks great. And of course, the other accessory, it's considered an accessory, is the base or the stand. And there is Picard's stand, which looks exactly like the comm badge. And this is what Playmates did with their figures. With the TNG figures, it looked like the TNG comm badge. And this is the more updated one, which I believe first appeared in the movie Generations. I could be wrong there. You can correct me down below. Maybe it appeared sooner than that, but there's the back. It's just hollow, plastic, but it serves its purpose. It's got a peg for the foothold at the bottom of the figure. And like I said, Playmates didn't have to do this. They could have just had a plain circular black base, but they took it that extra step and gave us a base that looked exactly like the comm badge. So that's pretty sharp. Looks good. So there's our accessories and the poster. Let's take a look at the figure itself. Okay, so here he is. Captain Jean-Luc Picard from the movie First Contact. He is looking quite sharp in that uniform. I've got him holding his compression phaser rifle, just because I think it looks good on him. But there he is on his base. As I mentioned before, he's a 9-inch figure, so it's 1/8 scale. But actually on his stand, he's closer to 10 inches. So he's quite tall. I mentioned in my other video of Picard in his dress uniform that these 9-inch figures have 9 points of articulation. So his head moves. It's not a ball joint, so it just goes, left and right. But it's fine. Remember, this is 1996. It's not like toys nowadays that have 30, 40, 50 points of articulation, especially Spider-Man figures. They have a lot of articulation. So his head moves, that's 1. His arms go up and down, that's 3. His arms bend at the elbows, that's 5. Of course, he's got hips that move the legs forward and back, so that's 7. And his knees bend, so that's 9. And that's all you need for a toy. This is a toy after all. It's not a museum grade piece. It's not like a Hot Toys piece or Sideshow Collectibles or Exo 6. This is just a toy. But I think a very good looking toy. I really thought Playmates did quite a good job with their figures. So there's the profile. We can get right in there on our good captain. It'll focus as best as it can. He looks good. He looks good. Now, First Contact, that movie was the first time that we've ever seen this uniform, which was a little bit more militaristic than the uniforms seen in TNG and in the movie Generations. He still has his command color, but instead of it being right along the shoulder yoke, it's just the undershirt. Is that sort of burgundy color, that red burgundy. He's got his pips. They're kind of difficult to see, but they're there. He's got his 4 rank pips, denoting that he is a captain. And they're just, silk screened on or whatever. They're just printed on. They're not anything special. Same thing with his comm badge. It's just printed right onto the fabric, but it looks fine. If that was a plastic piece or something, it would easily get ripped off or damaged. So they were wise just to print it on like that. But there's the First Contact uniform. I'll put some pictures up so you can see. Now, when the cast wore this uniform, the top gray area was quilted. They couldn't really do it with a figure of this size, but you see how they've printed on these blue lines to give the impression of being quilted. If you look at my uniform at the beginning of this video, you might notice that quilting pattern as well. And also, in TNG, the colored area was further up, closer to the neck, and just a small bit down the shoulders. This is much deeper down the chest, the gray. Still pointy shoulders there going down. But it looks sharp, that uniform. You know, they changed it for the movie. And this uniform they used in First Contact and Insurrection and Deep Space Nine and Nemesis, of course. Some of the later seasons of Voyager has it. This uniform's also shown up on Lower Decks. This is one of the most popular Starfleet uniforms. People really like the look of it. Pretty sharp. Now, on the real uniform, it's got the division sort of band of color around the cuff. There should be a burgundy band of color around the cuff. This figure doesn't have it. For whatever reason, they could have printed it on. It would have been very expensive to actually get this burgundy fabric and sew it on, but they could have printed something. But again, it's a minor detail. I don't miss it much, but technically it should be there. That same burgundy color that he's got around his neck. But he looks great. And the uniform itself changed slightly from the first time we saw it in First Contact and Insurrection. And then they changed it ever so slightly for Nemesis and Deep Space Nine. When we saw it in First Contact and Insurrection, the shoulders were a little bit rounded, still padded shoulders, but they were slightly rounded more like they were in TNG. And this sort of gap was more open, as we sort of see it here. And then in Nemesis and Deep Space Nine, they had more of a sharper cornered shoulder like they did sort of in Voyager, and they tightened up the gap sort of between that little V was a little tighter together. So it was minor change, but essentially, you know, the casual looker, the casual viewer rather, wouldn't really notice any difference. You know, the uniform is just a subtle change. And also, interestingly, I'm going to try and find a picture. I'll put a picture up so you can see what I'm talking about here. But if you look here, you'll see that the cast has different lengths of gray. You see the yolk comes further down on some than others. Do you see what I'm talking about? The actual amount, the distance of the gray down the chest. Sometimes it's lower and deeper down the chest, and sometimes it's a little bit higher. And I don't know if they did that depending on how tall the actor was or how thick-chested. If you look at Worf, for example. But either way, again, it's a subtle thing, but it looks fantastic. So here's Picard. Playmates did such a good job with their clothing, really. This is 2 pieces. So the pants are 1 piece that ends at the waist, and it's just elastic. They can easily be removed if necessary. And this is a Velcro strip. And if you open up the Velcro, I'm not going to do it on camera, but if you open up the Velcro, you'll see this is all 1 piece. The undershirt and the uniform itself, the jacket, is all 1 piece, so it can all come off if necessary. But there he is. And again, look at the likeness to Picard. That little dimple in the chin and his furrowed brow, as I mentioned before, heavy as a head that wears the crown. Picard always looks stressed out. Certainly in this movie he was, based on his experiences with the Borg in the past. Oh, and like I said, if you haven't seen First Contact, go see it. It's fantastic. You know, arguably, the best Star Trek movie, generally, is considered to be Wrath of Khan. And I agree, it's fantastic. But of the 4 TNG movies, which is Star Trek Generations, First Contact, Insurrection, and Nemesis, First Contact is the best, in my opinion. You know, you got to see it. Look at his Starfleet boots with that fantastic shine. You got to look sharp if you're going to be in Starfleet. Oh, and the figure, just as I mentioned before, let me just take him off his base. You can see that he's got that elastic band sort of around his foot area just to keep the pants tight against his leg. Looks sharper that way. Stand him up again. Hard to do this with one hand on video, but there he is. So we have Captain Jean-Luc Picard from First Contact. I think it's a great looking figure, especially in this uniform. My favorite uniform from a nostalgic point of view is probably seasons 3 through 7. The typical red and black or burgundy and black uniform as they wore in the TV show. That's just because nostalgia wins over. But from appearance, from the actual look of the uniform, this one is my favorite. That's why I was wearing it at the beginning of this video. It just looks terrific. So, if you can get your hands on this figure, I highly recommend it. And as I said, the movie came out in 1996. So the movie is now 27 years old. It's hard to believe it's that old. And after all this time, we now have Star Trek Picard, seasons 1, 2, and 3. Season 3 is just finished. It was fantastic this year. Everyone has different opinions. I enjoyed season 1. It was okay. Season 2 I thought was a little better, but season 3 was off the chain. It was just fantastic. It was basically the 10-hour movie that we always should have got. I like all the movies, but Nemesis didn't do our TNG friends any favors, in my opinion. But if you can watch Star Trek Picard season 3, the series is just fantastic. So, there you have it. I don't know how much more I should say about this. It's just a great figure. All of Playmates figures were wonderful, even the 4.5-inch ones. But these 9-inch figures, there's something to be said about them. Great quality, durability. They're very toyetic, but it looks like Picard. It hits all the right notes. It's got that look. You can see his pants, the bottom cuffs have that sort of V shape at the bottom. You can see that. Yeah, it just looks sharp. Overall, a fantastic figure from a fantastic movie and a fantastic actor, Patrick Stewart, as Captain Jean-Luc Picard in the movie First Contact. So there you have it, guys. Do you have this figure? Do you want this figure? What do you think of the movie? Let's hear about it. Drop your comments in the boxes below. And until we meet again on Federation Figure Friday, enjoy your Trek Toys, crew. Yeah, just fantastic. Let's beam Picard up now.